Welcome to the conversion problem in HackerRank. In this particular problem, we need to convert the 12-hour clock inputs into 24 clock outputs. So if we explain that simply, if we have time, let's say that is 0, 1, 1 p.m. basically, right? So we have this in 12-hour format, 1 p.m., right? We need to convert this time into 24-hour format, and this is PM again. So we write PM here just to depict that. We need to convert this PM time into a 24-hour version, which would be 1300. So that is all we need to do in this particular problem. The formats for these particular time problems have already been given to us. So basically, uh, the inputs would only follow a certain specific format that is given to us here, right? And potential input would be like this, and that input needs to be converted to an output like this, as you can see on the screen. So as there isn't much logical aspects to to explain here, let's just go over what would our process of solving this problem to be. To solve this problem, we need to first extract the time period uh, based on AM PM. So we need to understand whether the input given to us. The first thing we need to understand in this problem is that the input given to us, it needs to be either be the input given to us must be must we must separate from the input whether the time given to us is an AM time or in PM time or PM time. Those are the two things in the first part of this question, whether it's AM time that we need to separate or PM time. That's one thing. What's number two? Number two in this question, what we need to do is we need to extract the R part from the input string and identify what is the R of the time. So in every input time, we'll be given something like, let's say, we need to extract the R's, right? So we need to extract the R's second. First, we separated the input from the input, the AM or PM or the time periods. Let me just write this down. Time periods. And after that, we needed to separate uh, the R's in this problem. So what R's we need to, what is the R within that problem? That's the second thing we need to separate, right? We separate the R's, whether it's O1, O5, O7, or O12. Oh, sorry, just 12 in that case. But we wouldn't have any 13s, 14s because this is a 12-hour format in the input. So it's going to from 1 to 12. So we separate the R's second. Number three, what do we do after that in this problem? In number three, we basically, we need to separate our problem into two particular cases and resolve them based on that, right? So if we have the AM case, we need to convert time to time if the time period given to us is AM and the R is 12, we need to handle those cases, right? So in this case, if we have the time period AM, we convert R's. If we have AM time period, we convert 12. In this case, we have 12 in AM time period. We convert 12 to 00. This is the static portion of our code. And if we have PM time period, we convert the given 12 to us uh, uh, by adding another 12 on top of that. So if we have given 12 in PM and when we're converting it to a 24-hour clock, we just add 12 on top of that. To be honest, in that case, anything above uh, uh, Anything above 12, we just add 12 to convert it into a 24-hour format. But if it's AM and we're adding 12, we change it to 0. Like those are the two things you need to remember. And then we need to reformat the R and the 2 digits given to us, because like another aspect to it would be, at this stage you'll be asking, what about the minutes, right? We didn't process the minutes. The minutes don't change in the 12-hour format, so we don't need to do anything particular to the minutes. So once we, once we know that we don't need to do any change to the minutes, that means once the hours are done, we now need to put a, form return or print, or basically it's return in this case. I'm just writing print because we're more familiar with that syntax. We just need to print, uh, you know, uh, print the time in the defined format, the format that was given to us. That's all we need to do at this stage. So these are the 4 things that we need to do in this particular problem, and how we do that. So once that's out of the way, let's start coding this out. Let's start coding this problem out. So let's move to the question itself. And the first part of this problem is, again, as we discussed, how do we extract the time period, AM or PM, right? That's the first part. So to do that, we just simply do a simple slicing operation. So we write period, that's our variable name, and then we try to slice out the value. And in this case, the input is S, so we do the slicing operation on S, and then we just slice out uh, the AM PM, and we're doing -2. That's from the which depicts that we're starting from the end. After that, we need to basically move on our second aspect. We need to extract the R's from the input string. So we need to do that. Let me write that down. A comment, add that comment to this part. So we need to extract the R's next. And for that, we create a variable called R. And from within that R variable, we can basically, because the input is kind of like a string in this case, so we use the int process to get that converted to an integer. And then we slice S to get basically the R's in this particular problem, right? And with that out of the way, we move on to the next part of the code. The next part of the code, we need to work for the AM and PM cases. So let's start that. For AM case, if the period, which is the where we're storing the periods, equals to string here, yeah, a string AM, then we change 12. Then we actually need to check if the R is 12 AM or something else. So if it's 12 AM, then we change R to 0. Else, in the case of this for the PM cases, so let me actually write that down as well. Else, if the R is PM, then we also again check if the value is 12 or not. And if it's not equal to 12, then we change it to, we add 12 to every input basically. With that, I think we have completed the conversion operation. Then I think the only thing left here after that is to convert the value and return it in the appropriate format. So we're going to return a formatted string here. In the formatted string, we're going to add embedded Python code with which would basically include our variables. We're going to format R and tell exactly how many decimal places the R needs to be formatted for. So we do that for 2 decimal places, or not decimal places, 2 spaces. Then we add a colon that's going to be printed, and then we need to put in the seconds within this as well. So we add again embedded code and write the seconds or the minutes time. And as we haven't created a specific variable, we're going to just slice those things out from the input that was given at the start and just basically return that value. With that, let's run this code. All the test cases pass, and that is how you solve the time conversion challenge problem in HackerRank. With that, we're going to wrap this video up, and we'll see you in our next video. Thank you.